Hello, this is Alex Douglas. I race in the Houston SCCA region. I've been racing for about 4 years. Last November I took Roger Johnson's class on course design, which is excellent. When I got done, I basically didn't know how to use a tool to implement what I learned from during that and from the handout. So basically I went out to find a tool that would do the Bezier curves because they're very helpful in making a smooth race line, which this particular drawing does not have. I didn't figure it out by the time I did this first one. So I picked Corel Draw because it was a pretty high-end drawing program, but not so expensive to where, it was going to break the bank. It was about $250. So I bought that tool, and I've drawn other things with it too since then. So my skills in Corel Draw are not excellent, but they're decent, and I can get something done. Maybe a little clunky, but I can get things done in it. So anyway, after I got Corel Draw, I downloaded the Houston Police Academy, and that's what we're looking at right here. Houston Police Academy site, which we had on our on the Houston SCCA website. So I downloaded it and started drawing, and this is my very first map, which is actually not the greatest, but I wanted to show it to you because I want to show you the second one is much better than this first one, but I was kind of rushed because I was behind. I forgot that I was supposed to do it, and then they said, hey, where's the map? And it's like, oh crap, I better get it done. So if I go show you the layers here, we see there's only one layer. That means everything on here is on one single layer, and it makes it really hard to edit. Also, you can tell that my race line is not right, because at that point I didn't know how to do the Bezier curves and how to modify those. So this was all very rough, but it's like we were getting down to the edge, and it's like I just need to draw something. So I did this one. The second one, I had a much better situation where this one is at Gulf Greyhound Park, and this is the site map. If you see, this is a really large parking lot. This unusable but rough, this area right here is asphalt that's breaking up, and these darker orange areas are places you have to go around because there's a hole or something bad there. But if you look around this really good detailed map, it's got manholes. These are the light poles. It's got a ridge. You can tell where the ridges are. So it's really helpful, when you're 70 miles away from the site and know what is there. So someone spent some time making all this, and that really was quite helpful to me. So basically what I have over here is these are all the different layers that are in this drawing. What we got here is these are the parts. This turns these layers off or on, say usable but rough. This stuff, that'll go away. And then poles and drains, so you can sit there and modify it so it doesn't show so much stuff. So originally, my race line is here, okay? So that's how it was going to work. There's also a hump right here, so I wanted to go across that. So I kind of worked with some of the stuff that was in that original, in this original stuff. If you look real close, this says Dukes of Hazzard. So you don't want to go this way across that dude, or somebody's going to probably break their car. So I was trying to, and we've had people down there break their car before, so I didn't want to be the one responsible for that. All right, so that's my race line. I got started with that. I'm just going to show you these layers. I'm not going to actually draw anything here now. I'm just going to show you how I kind of put together this whole thing. The design, when I turn that on, you'll see all the cones. That's where all the cones are, and I pretty much did the race line and then put the cones around the race line. Also, I have a flow analysis here, which shows this is what radius this corner is, and that's how fast you can go. So you can kind of go through here and see the flow of the track without actually, driving it. just by fitting these circles to it, and we'll do that later. This area was modified significantly because it was way too busy. So when you came over here, it was just like a ton of cones out here. So Daniel McKelvey kind of helped me get all that straightened out. He said, you know, that's too much, and I agreed. It looked too confusing. Then we straightened out some other areas as well. This turned out to be a really good course. Okay, so I got race line and then grid and corners in the truck. So this has even more information on it. Got grid down here. Geez. So that's pretty much the whole track. Here's the scale. So when I go and turn the legend on, this is kind of puts my theme in there. My theme was this Canadian fighter pilot guy. Was shot down a lot of people over Malta, and that he was a bit of a weirdo, but he was awesome. So a text overlay also, you know, just having fun. I put some, you know, some verbiage in here just for joking around and stuff. So if I take the parking stalls out, now this is starting to look like what we're going to actually, oh, that's not that one. I want those. I don't want this. So this is what the actual map's going to look like. And if you see also the corner and grids here. So that's pretty much what we handed out the day of the show. So this was a really good course, and this really was a good exercise showing me how to use the layers. I mean, I figured it out, and it's like, oh wow, this is way better, because when you're trying to edit, if you don't have things on different layers, it is really hard to select what you really want to select without modifying other stuff, and just a lot of weird things happen. But if you do it this way, it works out real good. Another thing, you can lock a layer. If you do this lock, then you can't modify anything, any object that's on that layer. So that's a really good one too. If you want to leave certain things on but you don't want to select them, you can lock it and then it won't select it. And another thing I did is I built a library of all the stuff that I would use. So Corel, when you export the PDF, it's only going to export what's in the actual document area. All this stuff is extra stuff that I call paste objects, to where I can get different arrangement of cones and things like that, and then I can just copy and paste and drag this stuff in here, and it makes it a lot easier. So up here, here's where I did the flow analysis deals. These are all the circles, so that's 100-foot radius and 42 mile an hour is fast. The faster car can go with good tires on it. So that helps you with the flow analysis stuff. But that basically gives you an idea of why I think it's really important that you get a map that is well thought out, well documented for all the troubled areas and keep out zones, and then use layers to keep all this stuff separate. So you can, if somebody wants, oh, I want this and I don't want all this stuff on there, you just turn it off. It's really easy. Makes it much better. This is my newer, this is the one oh, see, that's what I'm talking about. I'll go back. Okay, so I don't want to select that. I just want to move this whole drawing. Okay, so this is Houston Police Academy, and I went back and took that original program and I broke it into layers. So this is the legend stuff, so I got all this stuff separated, so it makes it a little easier. Start and finish, I haven't determined yet. The design will be where all the cones are. That's not done yet either. The race line is on there, but it's not been smoothed. I just drew it in there, and I'm going to show you how I did that in a later video. Corners hadn't been done because I haven't finished the drawing. Text and picture overlay, that's the goofy stuff you stick on there, and I'll do that at the very end. This one actually is a 2-day event where we'll run forwards and backwards, and then a little bit of modification on day 2. So it's going to be yin and yang pretty much. Give you a hint. Let's see. Concrete surface. This is This outlines the Houston Police Academy's entire, the whole, let me take this flow analysis off here. Basically, these are all the cracks in the concrete where they had it poured. So that division lines, you can take that off, and that's the actual surface. They have this blacktop area, or this coated area, that they don't like us to drive on, so we normally just go around that particular deal. Flow analysis, okay. So when I started making this one, I'm gonna stop here actually.